Welcome to a special holiday edition of the Apple Core. Now today we're going to take a look forward to 2019 to see what we can expect from Apple based on some of your feedback. Let's get started. Before we begin, I want to thank all of you for sending in your 2019 Apple wish list. Now here's how it's going to go down. First off, I'm going to read your comments about what you want to see Apple do in 2019, and then we're going to do a little reality check to see how likely we are to actually get it in the next year based on the rumors. So let's start with the iPhones. Now I'm going to read Eric Becker's comment, who says he wants to see OLED across the whole lineup. No point in upgrading to a phone with no better screen for that high of a price, he says. And I totally agree with you, but I don't think we're going to see a change in next year's lineup, at least according to the most recent rumors, which state that Apple is going to keep with the same designs in 2019. Now, along those same lines, Christopher Allen says on YouTube that he's not buying a phone with a notch ever, and that he's gonna hold on to his old phone forever until that ugly notch goes away. And I'm sorry to tell you, Chris, but you're gonna be waiting another year because it seems that 2019 is not gonna be the year that Apple gets rid of the notch on the new iPhones, because Apple still needs that true depth camera array on the top to make Face ID work, and it doesn't look like they're going to be switching to an in-screen fingerprint scanner anytime soon. Now, a lot of you are requesting the return of the headphone jack on the iPhone. Again, I'm sorry to disappoint you, not seeing this one happen. What we may see is iPhone switching to USB-C. That was on Greg Geiss's wish list. He said he wants the iPhone to switch to USB-C and lower the prices. Now, this one is a little bit more likely only because Apple already did this with the new iPad models in 2018. Now, regarding those lower prices, which seems to be #1 on everybody's wish list for next year, again, I'm sorry to disappoint. This is definitely not going to happen. Apple is going to continue with the same price tier in 2019, at least for its iPhones, and we're not even hearing any rumors about a smaller, cheaper iPhone SE in the works, so we're just going to have to be okay with paying a higher premium for Apple devices. Now, in terms of operating systems and what you want to see in iOS, it seems that Siri is a pretty big complaint across the board. User Jeff LeBlanc says that that's the worst thing about his iPhone X. Now, this is one rumor that we continue to hear year after year right around WWDC time, and I'm not giving up on Siri because Apple continues to make improvements on Siri. It's by no means up to par with other assistants like Google's Assistant, so we'll have to wait and see for 2019. It is a serious possibility that Apple does a complete overhaul to its digital assistant. The other thing you guys wanted for iOS was multitasking. That alongside horizontal unlock, which are already on the iPad, so I'm hoping that Apple is going to migrate these features to the iPhone as well with the next iOS. Now, what's very likely in the next iOS are more AR features. We talked a couple weeks ago about an AR feature that would allow you to identify your Uber or Lyft driver when he shows up just by pointing the camera. Now let's move on to the Apple Watch. 2019's Apple Watch might get FaceTime support and Face ID support. This would mean the Apple Watch would have to have some kind of camera, either on the band or on the watch face itself, which is pretty promising in the next year. Now, user St. John Manson says his wish list for Apple includes epilepsy monitoring for the Apple Watch. And given how much Apple has been focusing on health features on the Apple Watch as of late, I don't think this is too much of a stretch. Apple has also been rumored to be working on a glucose monitor and a blood pressure monitor for the Apple Watch. But I also know that a lot of these features need FDA clearance, which means we might have to wait longer than 2019 to see them roll out. In the meantime, Apple has started to include other health features in some of its other products. The company just launched its first sleep tracking monitor, so I suspect that sleep tracking will become a larger part of HealthKit. Also, it just took out a new patent for biometric sensors on the AirPods, and that leads us to our next matter. Aside from lowering the price of the iPhones, your #1 wishlist item were AirPods. And yes, in fact, you will be seeing new AirPods in 2019, or at least according to the rumors. Now, the question really is, how big of a refresh are we getting in the next year? There are two likely events. One is that we're only getting a new wireless charging case. Now, the second includes all the other rumors about the AirPods that we've been hearing. Steve Ryan Games says he wants the AirPods 2, or at least ones that match your iPhone. And this could be a possibility even if we only get that wireless charging case as the refresh. But in the event that we get the big refresh next year, we might be looking at noise-canceling AirPods, waterproof AirPods, and those biometric sensors. But if Apple does launch AirPods 2 with a wireless charging case, it would only make sense that they also launch the Air Power Mat, which was on your list and frankly on mine as well. It may be too late for Apple to deliver on its promise of bringing this charging mat to consumers in 2018, but that doesn't mean it's dead. We will likely be getting that charging mat capable of charging up to 3 Apple devices at once in 2019. Given its track record, don't hold your breath. On to the Macs. Now we just got a brand new batch of laptops. We got a slight refresh to the MacBook Pro lineup, and we got the MacBook Air sequel that we had been waiting for a long time. So I'm not expecting to see new laptops next year from Apple, but that doesn't mean we're not going to see other types of Macs. The Mac Pro is one of those products that's definitely overdue for a refresh. And if Apple wants to maintain its Pro users, we might actually get one in 2019. Now this one wasn't as popular on your wish list, but it's also been rumored to be in the works. That is, a cheaper, smaller HomePod to compete with the Google Home Mini and the Amazon Echo Dot. Apple is rumored to be working on this cheaper HomePod for 2019, so we can probably expect it right around WWDC. The other one that wasn't really on your wish list, but I had to mention anyway, is Apple original content, as Apple goes head-to-head in 2019 with the likes of Netflix, Hulu, and HBO. Apple is rumored to be spending $1 billion in content next year, and it already has production deals with Reese Witherspoon, Steven Spielberg, and Oprah, and I'm personally curious to see what this Apple-branded content will look like and if it can still compete in this saturated market. What's not clear is whether or not it's going to offer it as a standalone service or as a bundle deal with Apple Music. But all these questions are going to be answered in 2019. And on Mark Thompson's wish list for 2019, that I get rid of the laptop for Apple Core. But what do you guys think? Should I get rid of the laptop? Should I get rid of the desk altogether? Because hey, you never know what I might do next year. So hit me up on the comment section below or on Twitter. And that pretty much does it for Apple Core this year. But stay tuned next year because we're going to be coming to you live from the CNET stage at the Consumer Electronics Show. So until then, Happy New Year's.